Happy morning. I'm so glad that today we have Sarah in the house. Welcome, Sarah. Yeah. Okay, before we jump into our stormy sea, let me introduce Sarah to you first. Sarah, she is a thought leader and author of The Changing the World is a Child's Play. Facilitator, speaker, trainer, and coach in both professional and personal settings. She is also a mama of three teens and a dreamer of the human evolutionary leaps through parenting transformation. Along with her own parent and life transformation business, she's currently worked with the Revolutionary Women's Group, which is a group that we are in the inside, and it's amazing, amazing. Check this out. And BSI People Skills and Thriving Under Fire. She learned about a huge amount about the neuroscience. And yes, today we're going to explore more about our brain. She has a very special way to explain and to explain the brain function to you in a very simple terms during for her 12 years as an educator and also the national coach at the Brainwave Trust, Otiera. And I welcome Sarah. So now, yeah,
wonderful to be here, Joyce.
Now, let's go into this part. In our everyday life, right? It's like there is so many different circumstances that we were going to experience the time that we have this high, emotional, negative emotion. So can you please share with us, like, what are some of the negative emotions that we would love to talk about today? And what are the example circumstances that can really standing us to the stormy sea?
Oh, yes, Joyce. Imagine you've had a really hard day at work and you're driving home and then someone cuts you off in traffic. Often you feel really frustrated, annoyed, maybe angry. Maybe that might be the last thing that has just sent you over the edge and you think, I can't cope, and feel really very emotional and upset, really worried about coping. Maybe with all the COVID stress that's been going on, I have got 2 children with COVID at the moment. There's disappointment at missing out on things, worry about how to care. Lots of emotions that come in and they just take over in that moment. Really, really strong emotions. And all of us have them. Human beings are emotional creatures. So we all experience them every day, all the time.
Yes. Wow. There's a lot of example you give. I'm trying to digest right now.
Yes. And there are also positive emotions as well. It's not all negative, but today we're talking about the ones that we don't like, the emotions that we find uncomfortable.
Yes. Because we come up with this poster, remember, we have these trees that is with the storm, with the illness. Yes, okay, we're going to calm the storm down. Before we go to the stormy sea, let's bring down a little bit to understand more about one thing. That's our brain. Because this is our interconnected place to how we're going to respond with the emotion, right? So our brain, we have 2 parts, which is the thinking brain and also the emotional brain. And this thinking brain and also is more govern the language part. And then the emotional brain is more on the feeling part. Can you please share with us that how? Because I know that you have a very special way to make us more easily understand that.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, Joyce. And this is the coolest thing. You can always remember about how the brain works by just going like this with your hand. All right, now I'm going to explain the parts. Now you've said there's 2 parts to the brain. I'm going to add another one in here as well, a third part. There's this part which is even more unconscious than the feeling part. We'll get to that. Okay, so this part here is like your brain stem. It's like the bit that's at the back of your skull, and it's connecting to your body and sending messages, keeping your heart pumping, keeping you alive, keeping you breathing, moving, sending messages to and from your body. That part of your brain doesn't know it exists at all. It's keeping you alive. It's your survival part of your brain. And then in the middle here, this is your limbic system, or the feelings, emotional part of the brain, if you put your finger on the top and on the side and then went right into the middle, that's where this part is, right in the middle. And there's heaps of parts here, including the amygdala, the hippocampus, lots of pieces in here. And now this part is all about your feelings and emotions. And your pet dog and your pet cat, they have this part of the brain as well. They have emotions as well. Not as many as humans, but they have a lot of emotional feeling as well. And this part in here is also connected to your memories, and your all of the things that have happened to you are all being stored in here. Then the last part of your brain, which for those of you with young children are waiting for your children to, I wish they would be able to answer, why did you do that question. They can't do that until they've got this part of the brain, which is the thinking part of their brain. And this part takes a long time to develop, all through their young years, all through into teenagehood, all through into the middle 20s. And this is the thinking, irrational, the rational part of the brain, the logical part of the brain. And this is the part where language is really strong, where connection with other humans, like empathy, is really strong, and focus on logic and problem solving. It happens in here. So that's how our brain develops, from the bottom all the way up. And when we get really stressed, what happens is the brain goes into this emotional part of the brain. And if we're even more stressed, we go into the survival part of the brain and just focus on, that's fight, flight, freeze. That happens down here. But for those angry, frustrated, upset, annoyed, worried, all of those emotions, and all the happy ones as well, that's all happening in here. And it's hard to think. It's really hard to think when you have lots of emotion. That's why it feels like the stormy seas, and I'll never get out of this, and this is awful, and nothing else seems to matter. It's because it's hard to think when we're in high emotion.
That's the part that is more irrational, right? Not the rational part. It's irrational and reactive.
Very reactive, and not thinking so much about consequences. It's a harder part to manage, but there are some secrets, and we'll get to those.
Yeah, I love the way you use this to just a simple hand gesture to really, we know that, okay, this is the thinking part, this is the more emotional part, and this is our survival part. So it's like, whoa, simple. Okay.
Yeah, really simple. In my family, we've taught the children to, when they're getting a bit stressed, they can go like this, and they can say, I'm getting stressed.
They can use the hand gesture to communicate.
Yeah, it's great for little children. My children are older now, but when they're little, they can just go like that. And that says, I'm too stressed to think straight at the moment. So, little tip for parents.
Yeah, good. So now let's go and explore with some examples. We are adults. Let's talk about like some of the workplace. We see there is some customer that's so demanding that they get frustrated, they get angry so easily with the smaller things that happen. So can you share with us like how to calm these storms, and also how to acknowledge how they feel, especially during that difficult conversation?
Yeah, it's a really good question and really difficult. It's not easy. It's simple and not easy.
Yeah.
It's simple in that you want to help yourself and the person, the customer, to calm their brain down so that they can think straight. And to do that, you need to be calm, because, okay, here's you and you're calm, and they come in and they're angry and they're demanding. It's very, very tempting to get stressed and upset, frustrated, angry as well. So if you can calm down yourself, then that will help. Now, how do you do that? Now, one of the ways is that you engage your language centers in your brain, and you say to yourself, I am feeling frustrated. I am angry. I am feeling stressed. I don't know how to deal with this. And you say it very calmly, not, I'm so stressed. This is so terrible. I can never help. I can never deal with this. It's more, I'm feeling stressed. I'm frustrated. and breathe. That's another thing, because that helps bring your brain into calm. It helps engage these parts of the brain that will calm you down.
Yes.
So a deep breath, acknowledge your own feeling. And then this person here, you can look at them and try and acknowledge their feeling. And one way to do that is to ask yourself, I wonder what is going on for them. I wonder what they actually need. So this customer is probably getting angry because they're worried, because under anger is usually fear. And they're probably worried about something. So if you can calm yourself and then think, what do they need? Oh, they need me to reassure them that something's going to happen. But first, they need you to say, this is really important to you. So this is me saying this. This is really important to you. And they say, yeah, it really is. And they start to calm down because it's engaging their thinking. It's engaging their connection with you and their language centers. And that starts to, calm everyone down. And this is the workshops that I teach with Thriving Under Fire. A man called John Fasandia has created this technique, and it's absolutely amazing. And I really need to acknowledge that here. Being able to say to someone, you're really worried about this working out. You want to be sure that I'm going to help you. And talking to them like that helps to calm the other person down. It's like magic.
Yes, because I did it a few times before. It is like when we calm, the way, the tone that we speak to them is different. When our tonality is calm, actually we can help to calm them down as well. And if we speak in a very rattling, high emotional tones, and they get even hyped up and all explode, and everyone is in a storm, and flying around inside the storm. And how to calm things down? Yes, the tonality. And using the knowledge, the language to acknowledge how they feel. Yes, this is important to you. Wow, I said this is work like magic. Please write this down. This is such like a gem that you can use it when you have that difficult conversation with a lot of people. So it's sometimes as this one branching out from just now our examples. Let's say for those people that have a very high expectation, it has never been easy dealing with those people that say they demand this and they want different expectation. How we can ask the right questions to them so that we can navigate through this difficult conversation.
Yes, and that can get very confusing, because if they're in a state of stress and upset, they're probably not saying the words that really mean what they mean. So you've got to look beyond the words. And, I have examples with my children and other people I've met when they are saying something horrible to me, and I think that's actually not what they mean. What they mean is, I'm stressed and I don't know how to deal with it. Or they have a need. So finding out what that need is. And the first thing you do is calm yourself down. Second thing, calm them down if you can. And really reassure them, I'm here to do what I can for you. And asking what is actually true in this situation. So you could say, I really want to know what you mean. Can you tell me in another way? That could be one way. Another way could be, thanks for saying all that. What is it you actually need from me right now? And sometimes that helps them to think, and tell you something different that you can actually work with. And sometimes they are being demanding and being angry, and everything you do is not working. And that's when you might need to be really assertive. Now, this is one of my key things is assertiveness. Now, write this one down. Assertiveness means you need to be firm and clear and kind. So staying calm, staying kind and connected with the person, really firm about what is possible and very clear about what is possible. That is assertiveness. And if you can use language that helps that person see this is what I can offer, and that's all that they're going to get, that may help as well, and they might start to be more reasonable.
I love the part you share about assertiveness. It is never been easy to practice assertiveness at first for me. Right now, I get more and more, getting better, I would say. Previously, when I first learned about assertiveness, because last time I am a people pleaser. I was a people pleaser. I give in to people easily. And right now I have my stand. I know what I want. And then the whole thing is when we have a conversation that is so hyped up with the emotion side, we calm down ourselves. Remember just now, you actually mentioned about this sentence, asking a question, what do you need from me right now? What do you need from me right now? If, let's say, they say, I don't know, then what is your answer from that? I mean, if they say, I don't know what I need from you.
Yeah.
I do meet up with this kind of people.
Yeah. So often it is actually about staying calm, and they're saying, I don't know what I need. And you can say, wow, you really want something and you're not sure what it is.
Yes.
And I'd really like to help you. Everything you do is a way of calming them down. That is what you're trying to do. Slow the situation down, calm them down so that they can think again. They probably don't know because they're feeling stressed. Yeah. They're feeling worried and upset or angry or whatever, fearful. So if you can try and talk to them in a way that builds a bridge between you and them to help them feel you're on their side. And then they're more likely to be able to think again straight. And of course, with all of this, sometimes anything you do is not going to work. You try everything and it's not going to work. And sometimes you have to say, I really wanted to help you. I can't figure out a way. I'm going to get my manager, or come back when you're ready. And when you know what you need. Sometimes that's being assertive, is saying, I need to leave right now. Yeah.
And because we have so many different examples, right? So many different ways, circumstances that we encounter before. Definitely you are going to face out with a lot of different funny type of people. They give you all types of different reactions. Sometimes can be really challenging enough for us to really calm down. Please take a few deep breaths.
Yeah. That is the biggest thing you can do, is take a few breaths. If you can remind yourself, I need to breathe, that will help you calm down a bit. Acknowledge your feeling. I don't know how to deal with this situation. Wow, I'm finding this really hard. Yes. That will help you calm down as well. And then you can start to think again.
You know what? It's like, how would I say? Remember last time we have a conversation together that we one-on-one, we want to know what is if we go through the spiral of the root cause of why people respond with this kind of negative emotions, or any stress response that do really show up themselves like this. What is the root cause? And just now you did mention a few times, because of this fear, F-E-A-R, fear. Can you share more with us? I think this is a really key for us to have, the empathy towards the other party and know how we can actually react and respond to them more effectively to calm down the whole storm.
Yeah, because often people think I'm angry at you and it's your fault that I'm angry, whereas the other person in the same circumstance has a whole different reaction a whole different emotion that they feel. So it isn't actually the other person's fault. They may have done something that was not helpful, but that doesn't make you feel anything, doesn't force you to feel anything. So that's the first thing. And then a person who's getting angry, what they're really saying is, I'm stressed and I don't know how to deal with it. I'm fearful that I'm not in control anymore. I'm not sure I can manage this situation. That's what's really underneath. If you look at all the anger, it comes from a place of, I don't know how to cope. I'm not good enough. I'm feeling intimidated by you. Those sorts of stories, which are not, they're not actually what's going on. They're the way that the person has decided to deal with the situation. It gets very, very complicated. And it takes a lot of practice to dig underneath the anger or whatever and find the fear. There is always fear at the bottom. So if you want to help someone who's getting angry, first of all, though, you need to keep yourself safe. So if it's not going to work, then just get out of there assertively or just run. You've got to look after yourself first. If you can stand their storm, if you can stand in their storm and keep yourself calm, you might be able to ask the question like, what do you need from me? Well, this is really hard. Would you like some help? And that can often calm things down. And it might take quite a few times. It might take a bit of work to really connect with them, because remember, when you're really feeling really angry or big emotions, it's hard to hear other people. It's hard to really get what's going on. So you might have to try a few times to reach them.
Yes, our brain just like shut down, right?
That's this. Yeah, the thinking.
Shut down. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to understand anything. That's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy at all.
Yeah, I would see the key here is like throughout the practice.
Yes.
Every single time that when we have the opportunity to meet up with this situation, circumstances, that we start to remind ourselves and get better and better.
Yeah.
It's not to say one time you can be the expert, even though we are the ones sharing with people about all this and we are still learning. The students of life, we learn so many different things. And I can see myself progress, improve every single time. And when I have conversation with people about that, yes, please jot down all these key questions that you can really help people to calm them down. Because this very short time, we can't mention about all the situations that we will encounter in our life. So, but I believe there is some general rule of thumbs, because throughout your sharing just now, Sarah, I know that there's some general rule of thumbs. Can you share with us or synthesize it down that how that we can more effectively manage the big emotional encounters with some general rule of thumbs?
Okay. General rules is remember to breathe. That is the first one. Breathing in your tummy, right down the bottom. You can't see, I'm patting my tummy right now. The lower tummy, not this sort of breath, but a really conscious breath. And that is the first thing you need to do. The second one is look around for the emotion. What am I feeling at the moment? And look for it and say it to yourself. This is what I'm feeling right now. And it feels weird, it feels strange at first, but as you practice it, you get better and better and better and better at it. And it starts to work more strongly for you. So breathe, acknowledge your emotion. And if you need some practice with emotions, there's lots of books on all listing different types of emotions. Get some different words, get a whole list on your fridge and look at them and go, which one is it out of these 50? It's that one. I'm feeling that one right now. And practice saying, that's what I'm feeling. And then it comes easier when you are stressed. You can remember to breathe. You can remember to say the emotion. it gets easier when you're stressed if you practice it when you're calm. So that's another thing to do, is practice all of this when you're calm. Now, here's one of the really cool things, is that after it's happened, you can still learn from that situation. So you can say, wow, last week when I started getting really angry at that person, I was actually feeling really upset because of something else. So actually, I was feeling that, and in that moment, it took over me, and I'd said some things I wish I didn't. Wow, I was so angry. Now notice it's not a good idea to say, oh man, I was so angry and I'm such a terrible person for doing that. That was so awful of me. It's rather, I was so angry. Gosh, I'd like to behave differently next time. So focusing on action. What do I do next time? And if you can, apologize to the person. If you've gotten angry with someone, apologize to them and say, I'm working on it. And you can do that a day, a week, a year after it happened. And each time you practice, it gets easier and easier and easier.
I love that. Especially, I jot down with the big words right here is practice when you are calm.
Yes.
You know what? So many of us, we went back to our default system when we don't have enough practice. Means that when the emotion gets so hyped up, we respond and we react with our normal self without learning. Yes, today we learned so many great tips from you. It's like practice when you are calm. So when the whole thing happens, you know how to respond the way that you practice. I'm like, wow, this is like, Jim, this is exactly what I do. It's like, when I'm so calm, happily that time, I say, okay, when I have all this thing, what am I going to do? It's not easy practice, but it is definitely worth for you, because this is a life communication with those people around you, from your workplace, from your family. That's one. Thank you so much, Sarah, for all your great insights. So do you have any words of inspiration that you would love to send to the audience today?
Well, first of all, if you're someone who has lots of emotions that come up all the time or regularly, it's called being human. There is nothing wrong with you. And that's the first thing about being human, is you get emotions, and most of us have not been taught how to deal with emotions really well. The way that we've been parented ourselves, and the way our parents were parented, and it goes back many generations, didn't really know how to deal with emotions. So I won't go into all of that, but there's nothing wrong with you. It's just called being a human in the 21st century. The second thing is that part of being human is that we can always learn. We can always change. And the more you practice, the better you get, and the more easily it comes, the less energy it takes, and the more quickly it will come to you, and the more success you'll have. So first of all, it's normal to have lots of emotions that you're struggling to deal with, and you can do something about it if you want to. If you want a different result, you need to take a different action. And hopefully you found some different actions today.
Yes. Today we have such a so many great tips. And before we go, I want you to maybe Sarah, you can share with us while I share the screen, where they can check out with you if they would love to know more about what you do.
Well, this is a part of what I do, and on my Facebook page,
this is LinkedIn.
I'm on. This is the LinkedIn page. So there's Facebook and LinkedIn, and you're welcome to come and have a chat with me at any of those. I do this work with adults dealing with emotions. I also work with parents, helping their children with the way that they interact together, which includes how to deal with emotions. I'd love to have a chat with you.
Yes, please go to the Facebook and LinkedIn and connect with Sarah. From there, you will know, especially, if you want more tips on communication, relationship, and parenting skills, Go to get her. She is the gem that you can go. So many great things. And thanks again, Sarah, for having you in this platform. And I'm going to see you all very soon. Yes, Sarah, and I would love to hear from you. Any aha moment or great tips that you learned and you directly want to pick one and put into your daily practice, let us know in the comment section below. And see you all in the next episode. Bye bye.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye.